Good evening, everybody. Am I audible? My voice is audible. Good evening. Yes, good evening. Yes, Shai, good evening. Vamsi Krishna, Arun, good evening. Giri, good evening. Yes. Good evening, everybody. Am I audible to everyone? Yes. Good evening. Nivedita, Rakesh Reddy. Yes. Good evening, everybody. Am I audible to everyone? My voice is audible. Hello. Yes. Good evening. Yes. So, welcome to Java Programming Masterclass. Good evening, everybody. Voice is not audible. Am I audible to everyone? Am I audible? Yes. Am I audible to everyone? Good evening. My voice is audible. Yes. Good evening, everybody. So, welcome to Java Programming Masterclass. So, what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass. So, firstly, I am going to give a brief introduction to Java. So, what is this programming language is all about? So, why we have to go for this programming language? So, we have different types of programming languages. So, why we have to go for this particular programming language? So, what does mean by this Java language and why we have to go for this particular programming language? I am going to discuss with you about the installation steps. So, what are all the different steps in order to install this particular, that is for developing Java applications, for writing Java coding. So, how to download NetBeans IDE and JDK. And we will see one by one. So, what are all the different variables available in Java, identifiers, data types, what do you mean by classes and objects? So, I am going to discuss with you about comments. So, what do you mean by single line comment, multi-line comments? And then what are all the, I am going to discuss with you about different types of looping statement. So, what do you mean by a loop? So, what do you mean by a for loop, while loop, and do while loop, and decision making statements? So, what are all the different types? Simple if statement, if else structure, nested if statement. So, I am going to discuss with you about different types of decision making statements. And then I am going to discuss with you about ternary operator and switch case statement, arrays. So, what do you mean by an array? And methods. So, what are all the different types of functions available in Java? And then I am going to discuss with you about the OOPS concept. So, it is an object-oriented programming language. So, this is our day-wise agenda. So, what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass. So, what do you mean by inheritance concept, overloading, overriding, and typecasting? What do you mean by an abstract class, interface? What do you mean by a package, access modifier, encapsulation? What are all the different types of string functions? So, all these are the powerful operations that can be performed using Java language. So, based on my application, so I can go for different types of functionalities that are available in Java. So, I am going to discuss with you about regular expressions. What is the use of regular expressions? And then I am going to discuss with you about strings, string methods, exception handling. So, what are all the different types of exceptions, try-catch block. So, for example, if you want to catch any type of exception, so it needs to be enclosed within try and catch block. And then I am going to discuss with you about difference between the throw and throws keyword. So, what is the difference between throw and throws keyword? and file input stream and output stream. What are the different types of operations that can be performed on files? What do you mean by file input stream and output stream? Buffered input stream, buffered output stream, and threads. What do you mean by threading concept and constructors? What is the use of, what do you mean by deadlock? So what do you mean by a thread? So for example, for parallel computation, we can go for threading concept. So all these are the powerful functionalities that are available in Java. So each and every day, I will be discussing with you about the different types of functionalities. We will see some implementations. So what are all the, I'll be explaining about simple code snippets. So I'm going to discuss with you about regular expressions. So I'll be discussing with you about some simple code snippets. So what do you mean by a regular expression? So I'll be showing some simple examples. And what are all the different types of strings? So I'm going to discuss with you about strings concept in Java. So what do you mean by strings? Exception handling. So what are the different types of exceptions? Predefined exception, user defined exception, and how to write a piece of code within the try and catch block. And then I'm going to discuss with you about the constructors, collections, what do you mean by a hash map, list, set. And one more important concept I'm going to discuss with you about JDBC, that is Java Database Connectivity. So how to connect the Java with the backend. So database, how to fetch the different queries, how to fetch the different records, what are all the different types of operations that can be performed, how to fetch records, so how to select all the records, how to update records, how to remove records. I'm going to discuss with you about some simple examples. And then the last 10 days, I'll be discussing with you about different types of algorithms. So I'll be showing a simple implementation in Java and SoundX algorithm. So what do you mean by SoundX algorithm? So I'm going to show you some simple implementation. And MD5 algorithm, what are the bubble sort, merge sort, quick sort, greedy algorithm, RSA. So I'm going to discuss with you about different types of algorithms. What are the different types of algorithms? And I'm going to show you some simple implementations in NetBeans IDE, logistic regression. What are all the different types, that is infinite loop detection and linked list. So I'm going to discuss with you about different types of algorithms, and finally I will show a final project. So this is what we are going to see in this 30 days. So once you just listen to my classes every day for 45 minutes, so you'll just become a master in Java programming. Alright, my voice is audible. Video is not streaming. My voice is audible, buffering. My voice is breaking. Am I audible now? Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible to you? Yes. So once you are going to, video is loading. So my video is visible and am I audible? It's buffering. It's buffering. 1 minute, let me just check. Am I audible? Buffering. Voice is breaking. Yes, let me just see. Live போயிட்டு தான் இருக்கு. கேமரா எடுக்கணும். மைக்கு என்ன அன்பிளக் பண்ண? ஓகே. Records, what are all the different types of operations that can be performed, how to fetch records, so how to select all the records, how to update records, how to remove records, and what are all the different types of strings. So I am going to discuss with you about strings concept in Java. So what do you mean by strings? Exception handling. So what are all the different types of exceptions? Predefined exception, user defined exception, and how to write a piece of code within the try and catch block.
வீடியோ ப்ரொஃபைல்
அவங்களோட வந்துட்டு இப்படின்றது
கண்டினியூ பண்ணுங்க. 7 செகண்ட் கழிச்சு திருப்பி வரும்.
சரிங்க சார். Sir. Am I audible now? Okay, sir. Hello? Refresh group, sir. Am I audible now? Am I audible? Okay, sir. Hello? Not audible. Hello, am I audible now? Okay, sir. Okay, so this is what we are going to cover in this 30 days masterclass. So if you are interested, you can go to pantechelearning and you can register for Java Programming Internship Program. So JPMC, this is the coupon code. So once you register for internship, so you'll be getting access to the whatever PPTs and the video lectures, whatever I'm discussing, and the projects. So please hurry up, the internship offer is going to end soon. So if you want to receive the webinar certificate, you have to pay ₹100. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving the webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving the webinar certificate as well as the internship certificate. Alright? My voice is audible? Yes. So let me just start. So if you are interested, you can go to pantechelearning and you can register for Java Programming Internship Program. JPMC, this is the coupon code. So once you register for internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the videos, lecture notes, how the projects are being developed. So please hurry up, the internship offer is going to end soon. So once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate. And you have to pay ₹100 in order to receive the webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving the webinar certificate as well as the internship certificate. Alright. So let me just start. So what do you mean by this Java? So firstly, I'm going to give a brief introduction to this language. And then we will cover, so what are all the other concepts behind this. So why we have to go for this programming language. So basically, it is an object-oriented language. And it was developed by Sun Microsystems and released in the year 1995. And it is platform independent, that is, it can run on any platform, that is operating system. It can run on Linux operating system, Windows operating system, or any other type of operating system. It is an object-oriented programming language. It is based on the OOPS concept, object-oriented programming systems. And it can be combined with other technologies like Spring, Hadoop, and Android. Clear? So everything, so each and every language, so basically I was discussing, right, so we have different types of programming languages. Basically we have high level language and low level language. So Java, Python, so all this comes under high level programming languages. So it is an object oriented language. So whenever I'm going to discuss with you about this Java language, so we are going to talk about objects. So everything is objects, classes and objects. We are just going to create a template, that is a class. And we are going to fetch, we are going to use the objects, we are going to create an instance of class and we are going to use that objects in order to do any sort of operations. For example, if I want to initialize some variable or if I want to call some user defined functions, I can create an instance of class and I can use those objects in order to do any sort of operation. Clear? So it is an object oriented language and it was developed by Sun Microsystems and it was released in the year 1995. And it can run on any type of operating system. So you can just download the NetBeans IDE for doing Java programming or Eclipse IDE. And it can run on any type of platform. Say for example, Windows operating system, Linux or any other type of platforms. It can be combined with other technologies like Spring, Hadoop and Android. So next I'm going to discuss with you about why we have to go for this language. So what is the use of a programming language? So we are just going to instruct the machines. So similar to human. So for example, what is the use of this programming language? So we are going to give some instructions to the computers in order to perform some specific operations. So we can go for different types of programming languages. So we can go for Java language, or we can go for Python language. You can go for any type of programming languages. So why I have to go for this Java language? So coding is easier, the syntax. For example, if I want to create some classes, or if I want to create some initialize some variables, so everything is easier using this Java language. Coding is easier and it is more secure when compared to other programming languages. So why we have to, so as I was telling you, right, so whenever we are going to go for any type of programming language, so why we have to go for this programming language? Coding is easier, syntax is simpler. For example, if I want to create some methods, or say for example, if I want to create some decision making statements or looping statements, so coding is easier and it is secure. For different applications, so we can use Python for developing certain type of applications. And why we have to go for Java? So Java, using this language, we can go for example, for website applications. Say for example, I want to create some college websites. So everything is becoming online. So I want to create some JSP pages, Java server pages, the front end. In order to add dynamism, so I'm going for JSP pages. And the functionality, so whatever is the business logic, it happens in the servlet and it is stored in the database. So why we have to go for this Java language? So coding is easier when compared to other programming languages. And it supports multi-threading capability. It can handle more than one request at a time. So parallel processing, so more than one operation can run at a time. So it supports multi-threading capability. And method reusability. So code reusability. For example, I am developing some bigger applications. Say for example, some calculator applications or some other type of applications. The method can be written only once and it can be reused anywhere in the program. It results in the reduction of code size. So that is the main use of this method reusability, reusable code. So why I have to go for this specific language? So why I have to go for Java, or why I have to go for Python or some other type, say C language, C++. So each and every language has some specific features. So why I have to go for this Java language? So the method can be written only once. So whatever modules I am writing, and it can be reused anywhere. So once I am writing modular programming, so it is one of the important features of this Java language. Say for example, I am developing some bigger applications in case of websites. So I want to do some computations. So I want to compute the annual salary of employees. I am defining a method called annual salary. So whenever I am going to call this method, it is going to perform some specific operation. It supports method reusability. So reusable code. The code can be written only once and it can be reused anywhere in the program. So it is one important feature of Java. So why we have to go? So as I was telling you, right? So whenever I am discussing about programming languages, so why I have to go for this specific language? So Java language. And what are the other features? Say for example, OOPS concept. It is mainly based on object-oriented programming systems. OOPS concept. So what are the other features of Java? Say for example, polymorphism, method overloading and overriding, and abstract class. So what do you mean by an abstract class? So it is just going to have a method prototype and the whichever class which is inheriting the abstract class, so it is going to have the function definition or function body. Encapsulation and inheritance. So what do you mean by encapsulation and what do you mean by inheritance? So all this makes this language more robust and more efficient, stronger language. So encapsulation. So data hiding or encapsulation and inheritance concept. So all these are the different OOPS concept. So why we have to go for? So it has these powerful OOPS concept. It supports all these types of concepts. So a method can be overloaded or overridden. So based on my requirement, so I can use any of the features of this Java language. Abstract class. Say for example, I am creating some template. So I have to know only the prototype and the function definition. So whichever class it is inheriting, so I am going to write the function definition in the inherited class. And encapsulation and inheritance. So all these are different types of OOPS concept. So all this makes this language a very powerful language. So why I have to go for this specific language? And scalability. So this is one more important feature. So whenever I'm developing some website application, so if I want to increase the RAM size or CPU size, so scalable property. So all these are the important features. So what makes this language? So whenever I'm choosing some specific language for doing certain operations, so why I have to go for this language? So what is the main reason? So why I have to go for this Java language? So coding is easier. So when compared to Python coding or some other languages, coding is easier. Java coding is easier when compared to other types of languages. And multi-threading capability. So it can handle more than one request at a time. So parallel computation, multi-threading. And code reusability. So code can be written only once and it can be reused anywhere in the program. Reduction in code size. Method reusability. So all these are the powerful features. So whenever I am developing some bigger website applications, so what are other types of applications? So method can be written only once and it can be reused anywhere in the program. So method reusability and reduction. So instead of writing some 1000 lines of code, so I can have 100 lines of code and I can carry out my task. Method reusability, code reduction.
Okay.
அதுதான் buffer
Continue பண்ணுங்க.
இது பாஸ் ஆகல வந்திருக்குல chat வரல. Okay sir. So am I audible now? Yes, yes. Am I audible now? Am I audible? Yes. So I was discussing with you about different domains of Java. So what are all the different domains of Java and what are all the different components of Java? So whenever I'm developing any kind of Java application, so I require these three components of Java. So what do you mean by a JVM, Java Virtual Machine, and JDK, Java Development Kit, and JRE, Java Runtime Environment. So these three are the different components of Java. Clear? So for developing any kind of Java application, so I require a JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine. JDK. So Java Development Kit. So it contains some compiler. So if I want to, whenever I'm executing some program, so I need a compiler. I need to compile the code. I need to check for errors, a debugger. And I require some other type of classes in order to compile and debug a software program, and JRE. So all these are the different components of Java. Clear? So what do you mean by a JVM? So whenever I'm developing some bigger application, so I require in my NetBeans, so I should have a JVM in order to deploy whatever the programs I'm developing, and JDK, Java Development Kit. So whatever coding I'm developing, the applications or code I'm writing, so I need to compile the code, so I require a JDK. So Java Development Kit and JRE, that is a Java Runtime Environment. So it provides a runtime environment to execute the Java program and other type of applications. So till this part, whatever I am discussing, everything is clear. My voice is audible, everything is clear. Not audible sound.
Camera.
நீங்க பாக்குறீங்களா? ஐயோ. ஓகே, அதனால ரொம்ப புவர் ரீப்ரொடக்ஷனா. சரி, என்ன ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிடுவா, உங்களுக்கு எதுவும் வரலன்ற கண்டினியூ பண்ணுவா. Am I audible? Yes. So I was developing, I was discussing with you about different types. So what are all the different components? That is the what are all the different components of Java? So I require a JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine. I require a JDK, that is Java Development Kit, and JRE, that is the Java Runtime Environment. So all these are the different components of Java. Clear? Yes. Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. Any doubts? So next I am going to discuss with you about the different applications of Java. So where I can use this language, what are all the different types of applications? So what makes this programming language so robust and efficient? So what are all the different types of applications that can be developed using this Java language? So I can go for mobile application development. Say for example, Android applications, it can be developed using the Java language. Clear? So I can use Java Studio. Say for example, I want to create some mobile apps. So everything is becoming online and many applications are developed nowadays. So if I want to develop some sort of mobile application, so I can go for this Java language. Say for example, if I want to create some desktop GUI applications, graphical user interface applications, I can go for this Java language. So I can use these kind of APIs, Abstract Window Toolkit or JavaFX and Swing. So if I want to create some user interface, so I can use this APIs, and it is one more important application of Java. So what are all the different types of applications? So whenever I am discussing with any type of programming languages, so what are all the different types of applications that can be developed using this programming language? And one of the most important applications of Java, that is web-based applications. Say for example, if I want to create some sort of websites, client server kind of architecture. So if I want to create some sort of website, so I can develop websites can be developed using this Java language. Clear? So online banking and other type of websites. So what are all the other type of websites? So everything can be developed using this Java language. So for example, I am using say online banking or e-commerce kind of a thing or some other type of applications. All these websites can be developed using this Java language. Clear? And game development software. So if I want to create some 3D games, game making modules. So all these are the different types of applications. So what makes this language more robust and efficient? So what are all the different types of applications that can be developed using this Java language? So all these are the different types of applications that can be developed using this Java language. Web-based applications, UI applications. So all these are the different types of applications. So app development. So with a lot of smartphones and mobile phones, Android phones are used by a number of users. So a number of applications, mobile applications can be developed using this Java language. Clear? So with this I am just stopping today. So if you have any doubts, you can just ask me. So till this part, any doubts? So whatever I have discussed. So I just gave an introduction to Java. So what do you mean by this language and what are all the different components of Java? So till this part, whatever I have discussed, everything is clear. Any doubts in the topic? You can't download Prasad. If you want to develop write some Java program, so you can go for NetBeans IDE. So tomorrow I will discuss with the installation. So how to download NetBeans and how to write Java coding. Any more doubts? Yes, I'll just retake the session. Any more doubts? Any more doubts? So with this, I'm stopping today. If you are interested, you can go to pantechelearning and you can register for Java Programming Internship Program. JPMC. This is the coupon code. Once you register for internship, so you'll be getting access to the PPTs, the lecture notes, how the projects are being developed. So you'll be gaining more practical knowledge. So the attendance will be you. So in order to get the webinar certificate, you have to pay ₹100. So the attendance link will be posted during the live chat. Alright. So once you attend this class, so you'll be receiving a webinar certificate. And the internship users, they'll be receiving the webinar certificate as well as the internship certificate. Clear? How to download JDK? Yes. So I'll just discuss with the installation steps tomorrow. So how to download NetBeans and JDK. So if you are interested, object oriented means, so whatever we are developing, so everything is based on classes and objects. Yes, I'll repeat tomorrow. So I'll just give a brief overview and then I will discuss with the installation steps. Encapsulation is nothing but data hiding concepts. So when I'm discussing with the OOPS concept, I just gave an introduction to all the concepts. What are all the different types of OOPS concepts? So I will be discussing everything in detail. So when I'm discussing this in detail, so I'll explain about encapsulation. So what do you mean by encapsulation? So we are making the members as private. So that is called as encapsulation. So if you are interested, you can go to pantechelearning and you can register for Java Programming Internship Program, JPMC. This is the coupon code. Alright. JVM is Java Virtual Machine and JDK is Java Development Kit. Yes, I will repeat the class tomorrow. Any more doubts? Yes, I will repeat the class tomorrow. Class is nothing but I'm going to elaborate. So I'm just giving an introduction. That's it. So I'm going to discuss with you about classes and objects anyways. So I'll just explain what do you mean by a class and what do you mean by an object. JDBC is nothing but Java database connectivity. Alright, I will just retake the class tomorrow. My slides are not visible. I'll just retake the class tomorrow. JRE means Java Runtime Environment. Applications of Java. Yes, I will just explain once again the applications of Java. So all these are the different applications of Java. So we can use them in, say for example, so Android applications. If we want to develop some mobile apps, so everything can be developed using the Java language. So using Android Studio, so I can develop some Android applications. For Android app development, I can go for Java language. And what all, if I want to develop some GUI applications, graphical user interface applications, so I can go for this APIs. So it contains AWT, Abstract Window Toolkit, Java FX and Swing APIs. So for developing some GUI based desktop applications. And web based applications, client server kind of architecture. So online websites, say for example for students analysis, so if I want to create some online websites, or for some other details, say for example in order to carry out some banking operations, if I want to create some websites, so all this can be developed using the Java language. And game development, so for developing some 3D gamings, so I can go for this Java language. Clear? So all these are the different applications of Java language. Any more doubts? Java is a high-level programming language. Any more doubts? Reusability means, say for example, I am writing some functions. So it can be written only once. A function can be written only once and they can be reused anywhere in the program. A method, it can be reused only once and they can be used anywhere in the program. That is the main use of reusable code. Any more doubts? Class meaning it is a template. Say for example, I want to construct a restaurant. I want some outline or a sketch. So when I am discussing with you about classes and details, classes and objects, I will elaborate. So I am giving an overview. So what are all the different concepts available in Java? My chat box is rolling fast. Actually, I am not able to get you. Abstract class, when you have only the function prototype without a function body, it is called as an abstract class. And data hiding, so we are making the members as private, that is called as data hiding or encapsulation. Abstract Ankit Kumar, so for example we have only the method prototype, we don't have method body, then it is called as an abstract class. Say for example, I am creating some abstract class. So I am just giving an introduction to this language. So when I am dealing with the concepts, so I will be explaining. So what do you mean by an abstract class and what do you mean by inheritance and all those concepts. So you can use NetBeans IDE for practicing. Any more doubts? JVM means Java Virtual Machine. Open source means Raman, it is available online, so you can just download and you can use. That is open source. JVM is Java Virtual Machine, JDK is Java Development Kit, and JRE is Java Runtime Environment. API is nothing but Application Programmable Interface. Java, you can write Java coding in any OS, so that is why I am calling Java as platform independent. For different applications, you can go for Java. For website applications, if you want to develop something end-to-end, you can go for Java language. And for doing some sort of predictive analytics, you can go for Python language. So method overriding, so whenever I have the same method prototype but different method implementation, it is called as method overriding. So I will be discussing all these concepts in detail. So I just gave an introduction to Java. So what are all the different types of concepts that are available in Java? So components of Java, so all these are the different components of Java. So JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine, JDK, Java Development Kit, and JRE, that is Java Runtime Environment. Any more doubts? Any more doubts? OOPS concepts, so polymorphism, so overloading. I will explain the OOPS concepts in detail. So I just gave an introduction about this language, so I am going to discuss in detail. So what do you mean by this overloading concept, and what do you mean by this, that is, what do you mean by classes and objects, inheritance, encapsulation. So I will elaborate in detail about these concepts. Object oriented, say for example, so everything is based on classes and objects. Say for example, if I want to initialize some member variables, I have to create an instance of the class type. Or say for example, if I want to create, so if I want to access the member function, so I have to create an object of instance of the class type, and I have to access the corresponding methods. Yes, multi-threading in the sense we can perform several tasks simultaneously. Sandeep Kumar, JDK means Java Development Kit. So what is the use of API? So it acts like an intermediary between two applications. That is the main use of APIs. If you want to connect between two applications, we can go for some APIs. So you can do Java coding in any kind of platform. So that is why we are calling Java as platform independent. So for doing different type of applications, we can use different domains of Java. Any more doubts? No, I'm not going to cover about applets. front end and back end RG creation. Say for example, in website development, so whatever modules, the UI components I'm having, right? So for example, if I want a user registration form, so it is called as the front end. So whatever details I'm entering, so when I'm going to hit the submit button, so it should be stored in the database. It is called as the back end. Debugging, we are going to check for errors. That is called as the debugging. So JVM, so we are going to create an environment, and JRE, so it acts like an interpreter. So once we are using, so we are going to use JRE in order to interpret the programs. Runtime, it provides the runtime environment in order to execute the Java programs. Any more doubts? Difference between HTML and Java. So HTML, so for developing some front-end text boxes and other kind of things, we are going for HTML. And Java for developing, so if I want to add some dynamism to my HTML pages, Java server pages, so I can go for this Java language. And the business logic servlets, I can go for Java language. Any more doubts? So features of Java, so all these are the different features of Java. So why I'm going for this particular language? So coding is easier and multi-threading capabilities. So it can handle parallel processing. More than one task can be performed at a time. And method reusability. So method can be written only once and it can be reused anywhere in the program. Clear? Yes. So once I'm going to discuss with you about the concepts, I'll give a project idea about Java. For example, so you are using different for website applications, we are developing a front end. Say for example, I'm having, so you can go for online banking. So you are going to have a manager module, you can have a customer module login. So everything is developed using the front end. The images, whatever you are using, and the different text boxes and the radio buttons, it is called as the front end. And once, for example, I'm clicking the user, I have to enter the user details, and once I'm going to hit the submit button, so what the details will be registered, it will be uploaded in the database. It is called the backend. Any more doubts? Any more doubts? So all these are the different features. So we have polymorphism. So all these are the different types of OOPS concepts. So I'll be explaining about the different types of OOPS concepts. So what do you mean by polymorphism? What do you mean by abstraction, encapsulation, and inheritance? Yes. So I'll just give an overview tomorrow and then I'll start with the installation procedures.